Yo, sorry, camera's not set up. There we go. We're here. We're back. How's everyone doing? Y'all good? A2C, hello. What's going on? Welcome, welcome. Yo, Sarah, what's going on? I'm back. Indeed. Yeah, sorry, I've been been doing a bit of work, which is good. And yeah, just doing lots of job chasing stuff. So updating portfolio and ArtStation, CV sending out, like all of that. Yeah, so I've been busy doing like admin this week, basically, admin and work. But today, hopefully tomorrow as well, I'll be streaming. Today I'll be streaming for about 3 hours, and then I'm gonna go on a big cycle. But tomorrow, I think, all being well, I'll be streaming like for a long time tomorrow. So yeah, hope it all brings good things. Yeah, me too. You know, I've put in a lot of work last few weeks, and you know, been just putting my feelers out there, sending emails, getting in touch with people, all the boring stuff. But yeah, we'll see what comes back. At the very least, I enjoyed all of the images that are made in the last couple of weeks. So can't be upset about that. Did you work for Hearthstone already? I have not worked for Hearthstone. All right then. I was in a bit of a rush this morning. I don't have an old painting that slaps today, unfortunately. If I think of one whilst we're doing, then I'll bring it up. Just 1 second. Cool. Sorry. All right. Sorry. So today I thought we'd just do some sketching. Like, I don't have anything in mind. I wasn't necessarily going to stream today, so but I've been able to. So I was like, I'll just come on. I'll do some sketching. We'll see where it goes. Maybe it turns into the start of a piece that we continue on with. Maybe it's just sketching, but either way, I'll be here. We can chat. I can answer questions, all that good stuff. And we'll just hang out for 3 hours. Yeah. So one thing that I maybe wanted to do was do like a sort of Drew Struzan-esque, sort of a montage, sort of poster thing. You've all seen them, like that old Drew Struzan, like Star Wars posters kind of thing, like you know what I mean? Big sort of montage poster like this. I kind of fancy doing something like this. And that kind of suits sketching in a way, because I can just like sketch whatever and then we try and put it together in some sort of composition like this. I do like doing these. I've made a few of these over the years. They're always good. They take quite a lot of figuring out. Yeah, they can be a bit of a pain to put together, but I do like the look of them, and I don't have one that's like in my portfolio at the moment. So Dobby is free. I'm out. I here to hang out at my boring office job. I hope everything is doing great. Yo, we're doing great. Thanks. We're doing real good. As you can see, I shaved all my hair off, so now I look like an egg. Yeah, it's an experiment. I'm just sick of looking like I've gone through a bush backwards all the time. So I was like, do you know, I'll just shave it all off. Eggs are great. There we go. Oh, let me change the music. Maybe it's just like a bit too bassy or something. What about this? Is this better? Hello, hello. Testing, testing. 1 2 1 2. Test, test. Yeah, let me know if that's all good. Okay. Yeah, weird. I haven't touched any of these levels, but let's just turn that down a bit then. I think it's worse. Better now? Alright, cool. Yeah, weird. Sorry about that. I haven't like touched any of the levels or anything, but you know what this stuff's like. You get gremlins in the machine, don't you? You don't hear music. Yeah, I don't think you hear it on YouTube, because the VODs that I send to YouTube I put without the music on, so that if people are watching them back they can listen to their own music or whatever, and I don't get like copyright striked. So the YouTube doesn't have music. How long did you spend on your last portfolio piece that you have posted recently for Magic? About 2 to 3 days on each. Yeah, A2C, it was about 2.5 days on each, give or take. Yeah, I did 3 of them in maybe like 6 days, but I was maybe only streaming for about 5 or 6 hours on each day. So I'd say each of them took maybe 12 hours tops. Hey, Dobby. Yeah, no worries. I mean, the music on is really just for me to listen to while I paint, you know, but there's more people chatting on Twitch. I'll give you that if you need some interaction. Yeah, so I mean, although that sort of 2 to 3 days on each, that's you know, that's obviously something I can do when I'm the boss of the image, if that makes sense. Like, I don't have to send it for feedback. You know, I don't have to. I make every decision in there, so I can just go start to finish. You know, if you're doing that stuff for a client, obviously they're going to have input, they're going to have feedback. There's going to be different things that are maybe that they want going on. You know, you don't always get feedback right away, all of that stuff. So just to sort of make you aware. If that was client work, it would be very, very unheard of to like get all of that sorted, unless they were just like, you do you. You make every decision, we're not going to look at it, you know? Do you think it slows? Do you think it noticeably slows you down on? No, I would say if anything, like the stream, sort of for the most part, helps me stay concentrating on it because I don't have any other distraction other than you guys, and you're not really a distraction, if you know what I mean. Like, I'm sort of aware that I'm doing something in front of people, you know, so it kind of keeps me locked into it. Whereas if I'm just on my own doing it, there's the temptation to like open the internet, like mess around putting something on to watch, like make a cup of tea, all that kind of stuff. I actually do find it a bit easier to sort of lock in when there's an audience. Keeps me accountable, you know. Have you ever used Critter for professional work? I don't know what Critter is. What is that? Nice, that's cool. Yeah, I enjoy doing stuff on stream because also I find when I'm doing things on stream, I don't tend to like overthink what I'm doing too much, and it does seem to help me move forward with a piece of work and make decisions. And I will just be like, yeah, that's good enough, and carry on. Whereas I might like overthink it and change it too much off stream, and that would really slow me down. So there's a kind of like, yeah, I don't know. It's just like a different mentality that I find myself in when I'm on stream and I'm working. That I sort of quite enjoy. It's a drawing software, but thanks for the answer. Yeah, no worries. I'll have a look at it. Yeah, the streaming is very helpful in that sense. Like, it can mean that sometimes there is like a sort of an issue that after stream I will look at the image like later on or the next day, and I see some like kind of mistake that I do want to fix that I kind of missed on stream. But then I just fix it. You know, it's nothing crazy there. Are all the musician or the acoustic foam off of the stream? Yeah, I just like the look of them. I just like the look of them. It's just kind of neat for the background. It's not even particularly for the stream. They only exist like where the camera sees. Like they're not. It's just like a corner of the room with them stuck in. It's all fake. been using Krita for the last 3 years as a hobbyist, but I'm thinking of making a switch to Photoshop because Krita, although is a great software for drawing, but lacks the tools for manipulation that Photoshop has. Yeah, is Krita on? Is that like a PC program, or is it on the iPad or Android? Like what? Yeah, you know what they say. You fake it till you make it, right? It looks like I've got the studio. Well, I am in a studio. This is not a soundproof studio, you know. It's literally a room. Sage Anubis. Hello, streamer. Hello, chat. Hello, Anubis. So there's going to be a lot of concerned-looking people in this sketching montage. Mostly a PC software. It's there on iPad as well. Not many use. Yeah, I was going to say, you might want to look at Clip Studio, honestly, because it pretty much does everything that Photoshop does, except that you can buy the program. You can even save stuff out in PSD format. It has like the same kind of layer tools that Photoshop has, but it's just like a really nice software, and it's not subscription based, so you don't have to pay Adobe money. And that is also available on Android as well if you were to use it on a tablet. So I don't know, might be worth it. Also has like really good, you know, manipulation tools and stuff. I'm sure some people in the chat also use it. I know people that use it and really like it, and they're always like, Alex, give it a go. And yeah, honestly thinking of giving it a go. After trying the Wacom Move Ink tablet at my friend's place the other week, and that you can get Clip Studio on that, I was like, damn, that's pretty good. I was very impressed. Tried the early Wacom Portable Studio thing and found it would lag it after extended use. Is the new one a lot better? Yeah, so I sketched on the new one quite a bit. I didn't come across any lag. Admittedly, I wasn't doing any. I was just doing what I'm doing now, like sketching, right? I wasn't doing anything like intensive or anything like that. So couldn't give you a full review in that sense, but I have also used some previous iterations of like Wacom tablet portable ones, and I wasn't impressed by them at all. But this one, I really was. I wasn't expecting to be either, and I'm not someone that's like, you gotta have a Wacom. Like, I don't even have a Wacom right now, but yeah, it was really good. It would be interested to see like what a Huion version would be like, because I'm super impressed with my Huion tablet. It's brilliant. Sebteller, yeah, no, I agree that if you're working in the games pipeline, Photoshop is what you're gonna have to use. But for the hobbyists out there, don't know if it's super necessary. So yeah, just some chilling and doodling today. Like I said, I wasn't originally going to stream. I'd sort of penciled in this day for finishing some work off, but I got loads more done than I expected, so here we are. And I was itching to get on stream. But yeah, I hadn't like planned anything. Not that I usually plan overly loads for the stream, but you know, I do at least think about what I want to do. But so yeah, you stuck with me sketching for now. We'll just see what happens. Because you never know. Sketching is the most interesting part, in my opinion. It is fun, yeah. Fuck off. There we go. This guy's all broken up. This guy's got places to be. Yeah, I don't like him. I don't like him. Rip. Yeah, he's out of here. He's gone. This guy's chilling. Yo, Simon Pape Art, what's going on? Welcome to the stream. We don't have much of a plan today. We are literally just doodling. We'll see where doodles take us. Maybe they take us nowhere. Typical art day. Yeah, indeed. Some days are just like this, you know. I think sketching's good though. You gotta do some sketching to get all the rubbish out. Sorry, I did not listen before. For which kind of studio is this illustration? Looks more style. This isn't for anything. This is for nothing. This is for just me doodling. That's all. Let's see if I'm an actual artist today. Yeah, it is kind of a bit like that sometimes. This is for the soul. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Sometimes you just got to draw. But I do think it is important to like just sit down and do it, even if you don't like the results, just to turn over ideas in your mind, you know. It's good sometimes you see something and you're like, yeah, okay, I'm going to take that and make it a full piece. That's kind of what happened with some of those magic ones, really. It was like, start sketching and like, oh, great. That works. And other times you're just going to sketch and there isn't much to it. And that's fine. There can't always be something to it, you know. I think sometimes as well, you just got to like clear out your mind because you look at things, right? You look at things all the time. I mean, I'm assuming you guys are like me, where you'll look at ArtStation, you'll look at Instagram, you know, you'll look at lots of different artworks. Maybe you're reading some comics in the evening, or you watch something animated, or whatever it is, right? You're always like consuming something art related. And then, you know, you come down to sketch. If you're not sketching often, when you do come down to sit down and you need to do something for like work or whatever, all the stuff you're going to draw is like stuff that you've been looking at. You're just going to sort of regurgitate that stuff for a while, and which is normal. But I think it's good to like get sketching, and then you just like kind of get all this stuff out, and then once all that stuff's out, then you can then you start getting all the good stuff again. But there's a lot of like just regurgitating things you've seen. Whether you're doing it consciously or not doesn't really matter. I do find myself doing it though. If I'm reading a comic or something, then I will like just sort of regurgitate everything that's in that for a while. You just got to get it out. I guess the first time I saw you, you was on a Moon Colony stream. Are you working with them sometimes? Pardon me. No, I haven't worked with them. I just did some streams with them, a little while back, which is really fun actually. Who was it who said every artist has a finite amount of bad drawings in them and the secret is to get them all out or something? Do you know, that sounds like something like Dali, maybe. I've also heard something similar. Yeah, Mooncake, what's going on? Hey, what are you drawing today? We're locking into the doodles. Getting our doodle on. Yeah, I can't read that name for some reason. But thank you for the follow. I like rubbed my eye as I was trying to read it and just made it blurry. So sorry I missed your name there, but thank you for the follow. Why am I always doing this? Yeah, I know what you mean. I have days like that sometimes where I'm just like, well, everything I draw is slop, but sometimes you can draw through it. Sometimes you like push through it and you like, it was just the first half an hour. Other times it's no bueno and then I just go do something else. If I'm working and it's like that though, then I just go and do something else for an hour. Just go outside, go for a little walk, go get a coffee, go jump on my bike, just something get out of the place that I'm in, and then usually that sorts me out. Don't get depressed about it. You're just at a different point, aren't you? I have days where I can't draw for toffee, you know, and that's fine. There's really no point getting upset about it or comparing yourself to other people either. You're on your own. You're on your own journey, you know, whether you like it or not. Whether you like it or not. Simon Pape. By the way, I saw Paul Canavan shared your dragon piece earlier this week. Did you take his mentorship? No. Paul and I are friends. We've known each other for years now. We met through the event that myself and a few others used to organize in London, and yeah, he was kind enough to share it. So that's why. But no, if you're thinking of doing his mentorship, I would recommend it, man. That he's a great teacher, brilliant artist, just all round like super nice guy. So got to go. Thanks for the stream. See you later, A2C. Master studies always get me out of that headspace. Yeah, it's a good one. Avata Cassia. Good day, what's up? Yeah, good day. What's going on? Do you have a faith piece that you did for the portfolio? Yeah, I think my favorite piece for the Lorcana one was Sleeping Beauty. I quite liked the composition, and it was a bit of a challenge doing like a Disney princess, to be honest. Like, it's really not something that I've done before, but it was good. I liked how it turned out. And then for the magic one, it's tough. Is a tough choice, actually. I think I think the most popular one. So then doesn't answer your question, but the most popular one was definitely Liliana. But I think my favorite was the dragon. I've really wanted to paint a dragon for ages, and yeah, I was just quite happy with the design that I came up with, and the overall like composition, and I just really loved the way that I painted it in the end. Like I kept it as simple as I wanted to keep it. It was one of those things where in my mind I had not a vision of what it looked like, but I had an idea of how I wanted to paint it, and I think I executed on that. So I think that's definitely my favorite one for sure. Makes sense. I guess I could have guessed by your accent. Yeah, I took it a year ago. Paul's a really cool cat. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. He's a lovely guy. Really lovely guy. Yo, Peter, what's up? My man, Peter. How you doing, dude? I hope you're well. Everybody, Peter's here. But yeah, we're just doodling today. It's actually quite nice. We're doodling with no fixed plan. Just whatever's in my head right now. Yeah, we love Peter here. Do Castonia? Do you? What's your favorite one that I made? This like shirtless skeleton guy. He's just like, hey, yo. He's like, guys, which way to the bar? Hey Alex, so good watching you drawing. I hope you're happy with all your new amazing portfolio pieces. I'm crossing all my fingers and keep my eyes open for you. Hey Peter, that's really lovely of you to say. Thank you. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm going to keep making some more pieces, and just keep trying to get my feelers out there. The images I have sort of traveled quite far. Like I've got a lot of attention for me. Like as you know, I'm not like really massive into social media or anything, so I've been trying my best. The images have done really well in that respect. Hopefully they've got in front of the right people. I've also sent out tons of emails and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Like I said, I've enjoyed the process. I really enjoyed making all the pieces. So at the very least, I've got that out of it. And we'll just see what happens, honestly. But like I really enjoyed doing all of that stuff, and you know, I just wonder, like, maybe there is another avenue for me to kind of do this stuff instead of like working for people. That, you know, I'd start doing some other stuff where it's like maybe a Patreon, and you know, do more when it comes to critiques, paintovers, tutorials, that kind of stuff, and just like create work that everyone then has access to, the like the brushes, the files, one-on-one critiques, all that kind of stuff, and maybe do some prints and go do a bit of the kind of convention circuit stuff. I do like the idea of potentially like working for myself in that way, you know, and just sort of creating and sharing and teaching, and that being my, you know, I just need to sort of really figure that out and or make the leap into doing something like that, because that would all be very, very new to me. I've never done any of that, and I'd want to do it properly. You know, and if it was something like Patreon, like, and people are paying for it, I just want that to be good and worth it for them, because you know, it's got to be right if people are going to pay for it. It's got to be good. I'd want it to be good. And And obviously, I'd still continue to do the streams. Like, the streams is the number one thing that I love doing. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I like shirtless skeleton guy. Yeah, who doesn't? Either the Sleeping Beauty or the fiery one from MTG. Oh, yeah, Chandra. They're different styles, so I'm allowed to have two faves. Yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Been meaning to ask you for a while if you consider doing critiques mentoring. I'd be really interested. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been doing stuff like that on stream, right, every now and again. Yeah, I've been doing stuff like that on stream every now and again. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, and I do stuff like that. But I'm talking about more in like an official capacity of like, you know, I don't know. I'd have to set it up. The mentoring stuff is something that if I was going to do it full time, you know, I would have to charge for, and I just want that service to be good for people. I think my worry would be like that people feel like they're not getting the value that they wanted out of it. And I think I could deliver on it for sure. I'm not worried that I couldn't deliver. I don't know. It's just one of my concerns. But how long have you been streaming in general? I mean, I actually started streaming in like 2016, I think. And I just come back to it every now and again. So, you know, I streamed for like a little while, and then I didn't for a couple of years, and then I streamed again for a little bit, and I just kept coming back over and over again. But yeah, I think maybe even earlier than 2016 even. But in this latest stint of streams, when did we start? Like beginning of the year? End of last? I actually don't know. I'd have to look back at the streams. But this latest block has been 58 streams, so yeah, it's getting on a bit. It's getting on a bit. But it's not something that I could just do, you know. It doesn't make any money, which is totally fine. But it's like it's just not sustainable. It has to. For me, it's like it's just for fun, and like it's just for, you know, making work and stuff like that. It doesn't have a sort of a monetary like outlet to it. Why did you only just now pop up? You're a gem amongst all the furry artists. Well, the furry can't be good, but you know what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know, man. The algorithms are weird like that. Like I've been streaming for like most of this year. Like I think I took a sort of a month or so off when I was on holiday, and we had the heat wave here and stuff. But otherwise, it's been most weeks for a long while. for most of the year. Yeah, I think also I don't have like a big following or anything, so when you know, when I put on Instagram like, "Hey, I'm streaming," it's not actually going to a load of people. But most of my personal work from my portfolio is made on stream, like over the years. Don't think there's much stuff on there personal work wise. You can't get anything for free if you look hard enough. Not that I'm promoting anything for free. Yeah, I know what you mean. What was I going to say? Let me grab my portfolio. Like, most of this stuff. This. Yeah, like this was on stream. I streamed some of this. Hey, yo, thanks for the sub, Michi Myers. Much appreciated. But yeah, most of these were made on stream that aren't client work over the years. So it's the only way I can make work. Honeybubble, thanks for the follow. Dusty Mothwings, how are you doing? Yeah, we're good. We're good. Yeah, Michi Myers, welcome to a very small and exclusive club here. This guy kind of looks a bit like Einstein. Love your art and it's inspired to see professionals working. It's very kind of you. Yo, Galaxy Uni, thanks for the follow. Welcome to the stream. Today, we're doodling. We're getting the doodle on. Yeah, I've been hitting my road bike up recently. It's well, obviously it's a good way to keep fit and stuff, but I just periodically I get back into cycling in a big way, and I'm currently back into cycling in a big way. So this afternoon I'm gonna go Richmond Park, do some laps. So I'm quite looking forward to that. Gonna chomp some kilometers. it's good. It's good to let off some steam. I think one thing whenever I'm like out of work, I always sort of get back into fitness a bit more. It's kind of like if you get broken up with, or you broke up out of a relationship, and then you're like, yo, I'm gonna improve myself. It's kind of like that. That's how I feel right now. That always happens. I've had it like friends and stuff. They're just, you know, they get broken up with, and then immediately they're like, I've got to do all this self-improvement. It's like, well, bro, maybe if you'd have done that when you were going out with her, you wouldn't be in this position now. Cut your hair, hit the gym, listen to metal. Yeah, well, basically, cut my hair, jump on the bike, and continue to listen to metal, I think. Oh my god, sorry. Brother's texting me. Right, more doodling. Let's go. Let's get all those. Get out of here, guys. Have you planned any other portfolio pieces for specific IPs? No, I haven't actually. Um, so I did those. I had to finish those because I just like started a piece of work. So that's what I've been doing this week, and then just like sorting my portfolio stuff out with the current work. But yeah, I do want to do some more stuff. But I'm just not sure what at the moment. I do want to do like a sort of a big sort of montage kind of poster thing, kind of marketing art thing. So that's something I do want to do. However, I would be tempted to like try do some kind of comic cover, because that's again, that's something that I've always really wanted to do. Was do comic covers. So yeah, that is potential to do some kind of cover. Covers are a dream. Yeah. If you were to do a cover, what cover would you do? Oh shit. Poison Ivy for DC 100%. So you've thought about it. Valorant loading screen art, if that counts specifically. Arena. Let's have a look. Ba-bum. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, these are cool. Thing is, Riot has their artist that does these, and they do them extremely well. Like, there's not really much I can do about that. That person has that job, and they're killing it. So the only comics I ever bought were Carnage, just because the covers looked awesome. Yeah, for real, they're quite dynamic, aren't they? I really like Valorant. Oh yeah, you saw that. I'm obsessed with that. What about you? Do you have preferences? I mean, Spider-Man's like the obvious choice, but I don't know. Who would I do? Yeah, do you know what? I think what I would do though is maybe just make up my own characters for the covers and just do covers of them. Potentially. But yeah, who would I pick? That's actually really tough. Really tough. I think doing a Hulk cover would be quite fun, just because he's actually like just all muscle and stuff and like crazy energy. I think that would be quite good. Yeah. Oh, do you know Silk? She's like, she might be, maybe she's like Chinese American. But she's like a from the Spider-Verse. So Silk would be pretty good. Like I much prefer Silk's like outfit to, you know, generally Spider-Man's one. It's kind of why I like Miles Morales one as well, because he's like, I like the outfit more. But Silk would be pretty good. It's not that I'm more Marvel than DC. It's just characters. I mean, I think Batman would be pretty exciting. I actually did sketch out. Let's see if I can find. I did sketch out a Batman, absolute Batman cover. Hang on. Let's see if I can find it. Spider-Gwen's covers go hard too. Yeah, true. Let me see. Yeah, I did it. I did sketch out. Here we go. Found it. Did sketch out a cover for Absolute Batman, or at least an idea. And I was like, could do this. Could do this one. Because that'd be very fun, I think. Yeah, because Absolute Batman is a beast. So he's good. Risky is now following you. Thanks for the follow. Follow. Yeah. So yeah, Absolute Batman could be quite fun. Do you know Absolute Superman? if you've not seen Absolute Superman, guy's a babe. Let's get him up. I can't spell either. There we go. Yeah, Absolute Superman. He's got the sickest outfit. It's all black, and he in Absolute Superman he has like these sort of like solar powers, and the suit all glows up, and like, yeah, he's just a babe. What can I say? So he would be a good cover. Like, this is some of the covers as well. His cloak like comes out of out of his traps as well. It's kind of like a sort of, it kind of flows like sand. So it like comes out of these sort of gills. And yeah, it flows like sand as well. It's like, it's not really a cloak. So it can like change shape and do all sorts of shit. But it's pretty fucking cool. But yeah, the outfit is dope. Like, I love that. The new outfit. Yeah, exactly. And if you've seen Absolute Wonder Woman as well, she's sick. So the Absolute series is like rebooting the major characters, and their backstories change and everything. So Absolute Wonder Woman is actually from hell, and she's got this big fucking sword. And yeah, it's just ultimately the coolest version of Wonder Woman for sure. But yeah, she's got this big sword. She's from hell. You know, it's pretty sick. And yeah, I was reading Absolute Batman. It's like, oh, you'll have to read it. I don't want to spoil anything, but the reboot, those Absolute series, I can't recommend enough. They're really cool. I really like what they've done with the characters. Been out of comics for quite some time, but I heard only good things about the Absolute Universe. DC is killing it, apparently. Yeah, and I think they just announced they're doing like a animated Absolute Batman series as well, which which should be real sick. Hey, new hair, who's this? Yeah, it's me, the egg. I'm on my egg arc. They actually has some kind of skelly horse. That's awesome. Yeah, it's really good. Egg arc, yeah, exactly. Good egg or evil egg? Probably evil. Let's be fair. Villains are way better. Villains are way better. Uh, Hi, are you using reference for these sketches? Looks really good. No, I am not. I'm just doodling. Um, Only use references for studying. For for doodling, it's one of those things where I personally don't like using reference because I will basically just end up copying the reference and not like trying stuff out, or like going along with interesting ideas or anything like that. So I tend to try and only use reference if it's a study, to be honest. References can be a bit of a dynamics killer as well. I'm not saying references are bad. There's just like a time and place to use them, you know. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes I do get caught up with one ref and not progressing on the artwork. Yeah, I mean, references are obviously very helpful. But I'm very careful how I use them. What I will tend to do, and sorry, this is repeating myself for people that already know this, but I will look at reference before I draw and not while I draw. Underdog Art Warrior, thanks for the follow. And that way, when I'm drawing, I'm recalling, I'm not copying. And if I do get stuck on something, let's say I'm working on a piece and I'm getting stuck on like a part of it, maybe it's like the hand or something. What I'll then do is I'll open up a separate file and I'll get the reference and I'll do a study of the reference for like half an hour, 20 minutes. And then I will close that and I will come back to the artwork that I'm working on and I will work on the artwork again, so that I sort of study separately from working, and so I'm never copying the reference. And the reason I'm not copying the reference is not because I'm bothered about copying it. It's more that the illustration will be different and stylized and have its own energy and direction and all of this kind of stuff. And the reference will never be 100% what I need it to be. And so I don't want to like stiffen up or ruin the dynamics of the piece by copying the reference. So I do the reference separately. I copy, I understand something good about it that I need to take back to the other thing. And then I try and recreate it, but with the knowledge that I gained from doing the study, And this way, it's always me deciding what it looks like, and not the reference. It's kind of horrible drawing. Yo, Kamichu Art, thank you for the follow. I see, thank you. Sometimes I do get... Oh, yeah, I read that. Yeah, I found myself sticking too closely to the ref if I always have it up. Yeah, exactly. Just... It can be no good to do that. Especially if the reference is like not in the right angle or something that the rest of your stuff is in. You'll find yourself like painting the wrong view of something, all sorts. all sorts of shit going on. Do you have any tips for someone currently studying figure anatomy? Yeah, I mean, I think something good to understand is not about the individual parts necessarily, but how first understand how the body works. Like the muscles of the body work in groups, to move the limbs, and they change shape because of that. And so learning like individual muscles is in a way not as helpful. What you need to learn is like groups of muscles and how they deform, and understand that the skeleton is static, in that, like this example. Okay, let me just quickly draw this out. Let me just draw this out really quickly. It'll make sense in a second. Okay, so you got this skull, rib cage, all of that. Okay, so you got the skeleton. Now, if you've got just sort of like an average person, okay, they're like this. Yeah, and they may be looking like this, right? Don't worry about that. All of this stuff attaches, blah, blah, blah. I think what people tend to like overlook, and this is where things go wrong when you're doing muscles, is when you have the muscly guy, okay, he has the same skeleton as the non-muscly dude. Okay, it's the same bones underneath. Like if I was to get ripped, I've still got the same skeleton. It doesn't change. And I think that's why you need to learn A, like groups of muscles, but B, landmarks on the body. So landmarks here would be like where the collarbone attaches up here, pit of the neck, for example. This point on the elbow, like the iliac crest, uh, the tip of the sternum. All of these points, as you'll notice, are like where bones are close to the skin. And those help you anchor, the skeleton within the body, so that if you're drawing different body types, you're essentially hitting these markers, and all this stuff is in the right place still. I think what people tend to forget about is the skeleton, and they draw muscles, and they draw like more muscly characters or whatever. And these landmarks go all over the place. They're like in the wrong place. They're floating around. They're not where they should be, or they're not there at all, and so on. And when I say learning groups of muscles, I mean like you've got the deltoid here, right? But it's made up of 3 muscles. Yeah. Like this. And they attach at the top. And they attach to the bone here in between like the bicep and the tricep, right? So this is a group. Similarly, like in the thigh, it's like this. You have this one here, and the knee. And it's like you remember the shapes and you remember this group in the same way. And there's like little shortcuts like this are all around the body that you kind of group together, And I think when you're learning anatomy, you need to find your way of remembering these interactions and these groups. For example, I'll give you a few that I have, right? So when I'm drawing the foot, okay, big toe, and so on, little toe here, the rest of them there. The inside ankle is always higher than the outside ankle. So like your inside ankle is slightly higher than the outside ankle. And it's just like, if you remember little things like this about the body, and there's tons of other ones. Like again, I remember these 3, and they're in this shape. Okay. Similarly on the leg, it's like this. This one on the inside is lower than the one on the outside, for example. The leg's quite an interesting one actually, because you've got is it this way around? Confusing myself now. Yeah. Sorry, I'm maybe being a bit incohesive with my thoughts here. I'll try and make it make sense. Okay, we need a leg drawing for this. Okay. The leg is quite an interesting one. Okay, you might look at the leg and be like, fuck, man, how do I remember like the shape of all of this stuff? And you have to break the leg down into separate pieces, and you also have to understand what the function of the leg is, right? So the leg is a weight-bearing structure, okay? It is there to support the weight of the body above it. And the way that it does this is to send the weight across from one side to the other so that you have an even weight distribution throughout the leg. So for example, you have your femur, the bone attaches up here. It comes across like this. Then you have the two ends of these bones here, and the shin goes down, slightly curved like this, down to the foot. So what you're seeing is the weight comes across from this side, and it goes back across this side. Now what you'll notice now is that all of the angles of the leg are kind of like opposite to each other in the way that they support this structure. And you kind of remember this stuff, and it lets you draw the leg, So the inside ankle is higher than the outside ankle. And then the knee is kind of pitched in the opposite direction, okay? This sort of structure for the knee. So we've got this way, then we've got this way through here. Then as the thigh comes up, if you go from the groin to like the widest part of the thigh, it goes through like this. So you've got these like three angles. Now the bones kind of follow this as well to make it easier. So the femur is going down here. When we get to the knee's pitched slightly this way, and then the shin bone kind of bends like this towards the highest ankle, like that. And so these are like little things that also the calf. So we got highest is the inside ankle. The calf is highest on the outside as well. So they're opposite. This point is higher than this point. And then obviously the knee's pitched as well. So there are all these little things about the leg that I remember. So if I'm drawing the leg, I'll be like, okay, that's all good, but I got to remember that this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens. Other thing to remember about the body as well, which is also really cool. And this goes into the whole like weight bearing structure. Devil may cry. The hell are you talking about? Okay, so all the weight-bearing structures of the body are stacked up on top of each other, from your head all the way down to your foot. Okay, and they need to be in balance. We need the same like weight in the front of the form as we do in the back to stay balanced. So you have the head. Okay, the neck is like pitched backwards. And it joins the rib cage like this. And the rib cage is slightly pitched forwards and goes like this across our abdomen. Then the pelvis is pitched backwards like this. And the overall shape of the leg goes forwards. Then it's pitched backwards at the knee. And then we follow the curve of the calf back down to the ankle. So you see there's like these counterpoints all the way through the figure. And this is so that we have like weight on the back and weight on the front that is kind of equal, because the way we walk is to fall, right? When we walk, we're actually catching ourselves. When we start to walk, we like initiate it by leaning forward, putting the heaviest part of ourselves, right, our head, forward. This unpitches the body, and then the leg comes out, to catch that weight as we've leant forward like this, And that's why the body's pitched like this, so that we can unweight it really quickly by just like leaning in, and then we catch ourselves. And walking is basically just catching yourself falling, like this. So again, like if I'm drawing the body from the side as well in this weight-bearing pose, is what I look for. Then I guess when you're studying life drawing, what you first want to look for, it's contrapposto everywhere. Yeah, exactly. Everything is contrapposto. Yeah, so with life drawing, what you want to be looking for is where the weight is distributed through the body first. So let's say, for example, I'm just going to draw a figure quickly. Okay, so I see a figure. She's standing like this. Okay, what are the things that I need to look out for first to figure out the gesture and the weight of the figure? Okay, what I'm not going to look at is the head. I'm not going to look at the arms. Okay, the first thing I'm going to look at is what is touching the floor. Okay, the part that's touching the floor is going to tell you firstly how the weight is going to be distributed. Okay, so I look here, I see that she's got 1 foot flat on the floor and that she's on her toes on this foot. So that tells me that this is the weight bearing leg. Okay, I'm then going to look at the torso and I see that there is a, the torso, the pelvis is bent like this, it's up on this side. So that is enforcing the fact that this is the weight-bearing leg, okay? It's straight. And also, what happens when you put weight on one leg more than the other, your body is going to arrange itself that your foot is going to be as close to under your head as possible. So if you stand like this, okay, and you can get up and do this. Stand like this with your feet shoulder width apart, okay? Just arms by your side. All right. Now, and look in the mirror, okay? You're going to be like this. Now, stand on 1 foot, okay? What you'll notice is that you're not like this, okay? You're going to notice that you're actually now like this. Yeah? Your foot is going to be directly under your head. If it's over here, you're going to fall over, okay? If it's over here, you're going to fall over. So to balance the body, if it's on one leg, the foot is always going to get under the head. So in this case, when I'm putting my weight in this contrapposto pose here, mostly on 1 foot, I'm going to find that this foot is going to be under the head. Okay? And then I can look at the torso, and that's going to confirm this. Okay, it's pinched here, it's wide here, and so on. This leg is bent because it's not taking much of the weight, and so on and so forth. It's science. And I think this, very long-winded explanation for your question, but I think this is the kind of thing that you need to pick up and learn when you're learning anatomy over the anatomy itself, is how the body functions as a structure that moves, and how weight is distributed through it, and then how those kind of groups, those sections of the body, arrange themselves and work. Because muscles can be all different shapes, right? And ultimately, they do connect to certain places, but you don't need to be able to draw muscles the perfect shape, okay, at all. You know, Jim Lee, the great Jim Lee, you know, he will say essentially that if it looks good and it feels like it should be there, you should do it. But what underpins it is structure and understanding what should and shouldn't be there. Thank you for the explanation. No, you're all good. I think a lot of beginners are not really aware of how important observation and basic understanding of all kinds of topics really make the difference in your ability to make art compared to just practicing lines all day, if that makes sense. Yeah, for sure. Good artist has to know a bit about everything. Yeah, I mean, it's like like I said, let's get rid of all this. If you think about it, let me pull up some examples actually. Sorry guys, I'm just getting all my workout photos. I'm just finding one more. Okay, so this is why it's a bit as an example of why it's not about necessarily learning the shapes of everything, okay, and more just understanding where it attaches and what it's doing. Because as you can see in these examples here, if we go from like a fairly regular arm right here, okay, all the way up to Ronnie Coleman, peak Ronnie Coleman, right? You can see that if you were studying from your anatomy book, right, on this arm here, and you're looking at the bicep like this, and you learn all about that. You can draw this. You can draw this shape. You know that's the bicep day in, day out. Okay? Yeah. And then you start to see like, oh, actually, on this guy, it's like this. And so on. You can see what I'm getting at. The fact that you've learnt this shape is kind of useless. It doesn't translate to inventing anything. And if you're stuck in a position where you're like, this is the bicep. You trying to draw this or make this up, you're going to struggle. Okay, you're going to really struggle because you've learned this very one specific thing about it, which is actually the most useless part about it, is the shape of it. Okay, as you can see, and this happens with every muscle. What you need to understand, pardon me, is two things about it. You need to understand that it changes shape when it is relaxed versus when it is under tension, right? So you need to know that there's like an elongated state and there is like a sort of a bunched up state. And you need to know in what position the arm needs to be in for either or to work, right? And the other thing you need to basically understand is, where does it attach? Like, where does that attach? Here and here. Okay? That's all you need to know. Because the shape of it can, within reason, be anything you want. Okay? You can stylize a character, okay, and have an arm, you know, that's like this. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could have an arm with all of these proportions, sharp edges, everything. Okay? That has nothing to do with this. It has everything to do with, oh, this attaches down here and this attaches up here, and then I can make this whatever shape I want it to be for whatever stylization. Okay? So yeah, you can see here how crazy that bicep looks. Okay? But it's still attaching in here, and it's still attaching here. And it's still on the same skeleton as well, which is kind of crazy if you think about that as well. Like, you know, the bone is like this in here, and it's the same bone in here. And it's the same bone in here, and it's the same bone in here. So, yeah, I guess that would be the most important thing to learn about it. And that's why I really rate doing stuff like this, where you sort of learn anatomy in this way, where you just break down the body into very basic shapes and just go to life drawing and just really get into understanding orientation of shape rather than worrying about the specific shape of muscles and so on. Doing this will give you a great understanding of space and perspective and all of that. Because like I said, the actual shape of the muscle, not necessarily important. I have a hunch you don't need to worry about not providing value with your potential mentorships. Just a hunch. That's funny. Well, thanks. Yeah. And like I said, I think I've definitely listened to Jim Lee talk about this before, where he's essentially like, don't worry about the shape, just understand what the structure is, what it's doing, and that does make everything a lot easier as well, I think. And there's just a ton of stuff that you pick up and learn about the body that you coalesce into your own system over time. So like all of this stuff that I was talking about, I picked up various bits of this from different anatomy books over the years, like Michael Hampton, Bern Hogarth, Loomis, all of this kind of stuff you pick up over time, and you just take the bits that make sense to you, or the bits that you can remember from each system, and you kind of put it together and build your own understanding, So, for example, I used to get really confused with the arm. Okay, it's quite confusing, right? But get really confused with the arm in this way, where I'd be like, mate, how do I understand like this, and then the tricep, and then the bicep, and there's a little guy in the middle here, and then like the brachioradialis, all the forearm muscles. Like, how do I understand all of this? And I think this is in Michael Hampton, but the way he breaks it down is to think about links in a chain. Okay, and I've drawn this first one wrong, so there we go. Is to think of the arm as a chain. Like a dais. Okay, and this is how the structure of the arm works. Okay, you have the forearm, you have the bicep and tricep, and you have the deltoid. Okay, the deltoid inserts between the tricep and the bicep. Okay, and then the brachioradialis inserts between those two, like this. It comes down like that. So like this is round, like the top of the chain. Okay, this is flat, like the side of the chain. Okay, and then this is round again, like the bottom of the chain. And then this is quite handy if you think about it foreshortened as well, because this will help you get the idea into your head about foreshortening and overlap and occlusion of forms. You could even get a couple of 3 chain links and like look at this for yourself, So like this, and if I'm thinking of the arm like that, okay. So this is how I work out foreshortening in my head. Is I just think of the chain. I think of those 3 links of the chain, and like you can twist the front link as well. Like if you wanted to twist the front of the arm, so instead of it being like your hand like there, you twist it so that your hand is this way, you know, you can do that. But it just lets you visualize it in a different way. And I just have lots of these little things about the body that I've picked up from various places that I recall when I'm trying to draw the body in a different pose. So and the way that you will get to the point of being able to draw the figure in any position that you want is having little things like this stored away in your memory, and you practice them and you look for them when you go life drawing and so on. It's like shortcuts or you know, just little things that help jog your memory. You know, like you would learn an acronym for an exam, right? It's like that, but you're just doing it for all these little things, and there's like a ton of them. You know, I have a system for drawing a hand, right? You know, so I always start with a square, okay, and then I imagine basically a quarter of the way along one of the surfaces, and I put a peak like this. I put a triangle. I do the same on the other side, and as you can see, this sets me up for the longest finger, so that it's like this, and that means all the rest of the fingers have the right height because I'm just coming off of this triangle, and it sets me up for the thumb. What's quite nice about this one is if I imagine this as a hinge, you can move the thumb in, right? Like this. It's like a door. So if I think about this in 3D, okay, so on, and then you can just add more to it. So, for example, if I have the hand, I can curve the box. Ilyas Naven, thanks for the follow. I can curve the box, which is going to give us a bit more of a natural feel for the hand, and I'm going to sort of bend this part in as well. So I've got my box on top. It's also going to bend. Okay, that means that thumb is coming out towards us like this. See what I mean? Yo, Danny, what's up? Yeah. I've gone full egg. I egged it up. So yeah, like I said, there's all these things. And none of these are like my things. These are just things that I've learned from various different places. Here for your egg error. Yeah, we're here. It's my egg arc. But this one for the hands, like, game changer. Because if you can draw this, and you can draw this, okay, you've got it. Okay, and you don't even have to draw them in 3D. Like, you can just stick with the 2D version, you know. Okay, and then like the more you like do stuff, the more you'll notice little things, you know, about the body and about the way things are arranged. It's the same when you start rendering as well. Like, you start rendering you start drawing the head, right? And then you get to a point where you like shine lights on the head, or you look at photos or whatever, and you just start to notice the same shapes in variation, like over and over and over again. And so when you're rendering, you're not really like figuring stuff out past a certain point. If you're doing a human head, you're just like, oh, I know those shapes. I see those shapes every time, you know? So, for example, you're going to see like this shape under the nose, for example. You're going to see these shapes under the eye socket. You'll see like this shape under the cheek. You'll see like this shape under the lip. You know, you'll see this shape under the chin. Like, you'll see these kind of things just repeating themselves. And you change the shape of the face. Everyone has to look worried in my sketches. I mean, we never do. No one's ever smiling. Yeah, you change the shape of the face. But these same shapes still remain, you know. Maybe she's got like really round cheeks, so we don't even see this one. You know what I mean? It's the same shapes. Like, they appear in the same places. They near enough do the same thing. It's just depending on, you know, the shape of the face. They will get bigger, larger, wider, shorter, fatter. You know? This nose shape, this shape under the nose, you know, can be like this. It can be like this. It can be like this, you know? But it's all the same. It's all variations on a theme. You know, and just the repetition of doing stuff like this, you will notice it, and you will then start to make up your own like shorthand for it, and that essentially becomes your style in a way without you even trying. It's just like the way you filter and categorize the information that you learn, and the way that you then repeat it is the style. And it's not something you even have to try to do. It's just the way your like filing system works. You know? And picking up on a different style is just looking at those things and seeing what's changed. So, you know, I can work in a kind of more realistic manner. I can work in a stylized manner. I can work in a very stylized manner. It doesn't really matter too much. Like, I'm more practiced at some stuff than others, but I can pick up a different style quite easily. I just need to observe it and look about what's changing. How are they handling edges? How are they handling shadow shapes? How are they how much is this being simplified, and so on. And then you can adapt to the different style, and it's not so much of a like, oh, I can't do this, it's not in my style. I'm like, well, it's just a different rule set, but the outcome is the same. It's like the difference between like paddle and tennis. Essentially it's the same scoring. It plays pretty much the same. It's just there's a little bit of nuance to the stuff. But if you can play tennis, you can play paddle probably. You know, something fundamentals. Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. It's sort of. I just find it funny, I guess. Anyway, that was probably the longest answer to a question ever. that didn't have much structure to it, but so I'm sorry if that was hard to follow. Thanks for always adding context. The cool thing is that you'll start explaining something, and I think I've seen that trick before, but then you'll take a step further, showing perspective or rotation, which is very rare to find. Yeah, sure. Okay, how long have we got? We got about 40 minutes left today. I know it's not been like anything other than doodling and answering questions, but it's been nice to reset my brain a little bit. And yeah, I think we'll be back tomorrow. I'll try and think of something to do tomorrow. Maybe we will start a cover. I'll decide. I'll have a think about it while I'm cycling and see what I want to do. But a cover could be cool. So we'll just finish on doing a bit of sketching. Obviously, if people got more questions, I can hopefully answer some of those. Yeah, we might do a cover, but I think I'll just like make the character up maybe, and we can sort of do a bit of a character design kind of thing. But we'll see. I'll have a think about it. This guy got a thick neck. He's an ex-Formula One driver. Yeah, he's just got neck for days. We go a whole stream without glowy eyes. Unlikely. Listen, don't be an enabler, you know. Yeah, we're good, Jewel. We are good. We good. We're just doodling, aren't we? kind of drawings looking like. Are we good though? Yeah. Yeah. He's kind of like The Rock. Do you have some sort of reference sheet for the design or the tats, or just freestyle? Yeah, I'm just freestyling. Just going with the flow. Whoa. Whoa. Uh, no, I do tend to sort of gravitate towards this colouring scheme though. The sort of like neon-y pink kind of blue. It's just quite a nice colour scheme. I just tend to sort of gravitate towards it. And yeah. Yeah, he's the goon boss. For sure. He's like he sort of shows up in the corner. It says some dialogue at you. Citizen Sleeper. I don't know what that is. Blade Runner style space station where your conscious can be uploaded into a robot and you have to survive RPG with bot. Oh, cool. Sounds cool. Who is this guy? All right. Cool. Well, that is about time for today. Doodle sesh is over. I can see the elevator studies in action here. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're never not handy. Lonely elevator for one is the best thing you can do, I think, when it comes to drawing. Just helps you visualize. But yeah, I'm going to call it there for today. The doodles have been fun. It's been great hanging out. I think we're going to stream tomorrow. I will have a think about what we're going to do tonight. But maybe some kind of cover. Maybe even do a cover for this guy. I don't know. I'll have a think about it. But we're going to make up a character, I think, and then we're going to do a comic cover for it, I think is what we'll do. But I just need to work out what that's going to be. Thanks for the stream. Yeah, no problem. Yeah, lots of lessons in this one, in today's stream. So check the YouTube. Watch the VOD back. There's all 57 episodes on there, but there'll be this one on there as well. But yeah, all right. Catch you tomorrow. Have a good rest of your day, everyone. And I'll see you soon.